So if astrology is so real, then why can one Aries meet another Aries and they may have some similarities, but they also have some major differences in their personality? Well, in this video, you're gonna find out. Hello, beautiful people. Your moon sign reveals your emotional disposition, how you feel about things. And because we are motivated much of the time by how we feel, this can have a major influence on our personality, especially in romantic relationships because we're operating from our emotions much of the time. So in this video, I will be uncovering the truth behind Aries and how having each moon sign will influence their personality when it comes to love and their life overall. And all I ask in return is that you show a little bit of love by hitting that like button. It's really easy, it's free, and it doesn't take a lot of effort. Just a little tap, a baby tap. Okay, no more wasting time. Here are the 12 faces of Aries, a brief personality description of Aries based on what moon sign they have. Let's go. Okay, Aries with Aries Moon. Now this is a double cardinal energy, which I like to call leader energy. So you will get a personality that has absolutely no problem and will more times than not prefer to be the person calling the shots. If they have an idea that they want to put into action, they do it immediately and they don't care who agrees with them or who doesn't agree with them. And they feel like if they need to, they can definitely do whatever needs to be done on their own. So when it comes to their personal life and going after their dreams and achieving their goals, this person is extremely capable. The challenge they may come across is they can also be very impatient. If they do not get the results that they're looking for in the time frame that they're expecting, they can get frustrated and quickly move on to a different goal with a newfound excitement. So if there are any Aries with Aries Moon personalities out there watching this, just know that you may find that you can increase your odds of reaching your potential if you make the commitment with yourself to see things through to the end, even when you're frustrated or if you get triggered in the process. Now this personality is also going to be very black or white with their thinking. Things are either right or wrong from their perspective, and there is no in between or gray area. The positive thing about this is at least you're always gonna know where you stand with them and you will always be very clear on where they stand. The challenge is if they disagree with you on some topic or some point, it will be very difficult to get them to see your perspective if your perspective is based more on a gray area or a situational basis. But overall, when it comes to an Aries with Aries Moon in terms of life and reaching their goals, they will more than likely reach some level of success because they are competitive and they're ambitious and they thrive in a structure-based environment. Now when it comes to love, you will never have to guess if they're into you or not. When they see someone they want, they go for it. They have no problem initiating and they're not shy about it at all. They don't take kindly to rejection though. If they find that you are not reciprocating their excitement about the situation, they will cut and run and move on to more interesting and interested territory. Once they're in a relationship, they're expressive, they're passionate and romantic, but just be warned that they do have a fiery temper with a short fuse, and they are also not the go with the flow types. Being that double cardinal energy, they do like to call the shots when it comes to love. They do want to make sure that you're happy and they will love you purely with their entire being, but they want things how they want them and when they want them, and if they're not getting these things, they can go from 0 to 100 very quickly. The good news is once they blow up and the situation is resolved, they're pretty good about getting over it and moving on. But you can rest assured if you have the pleasure of dating an Aries with Aries Moon, you will be in a relationship with someone that is responsible, intuitive, action-oriented, loving, and passionate, but they can also be self-centered, judgmental, and easily angered. However, as long as you two are clear on the do's and the don'ts and you stay away from the don'ts, you should find that this is a very fulfilling, romantic, and long-lasting relationship. Okay, Aries with Taurus Moon. Now this is a very interesting personality because Taurus and Aries are very similar in some ways and they're very different in some ways. For example, both Taurus and Aries are very clear and very unyielding when it comes to what they believe to be right and wrong. So this will be a personality that is opinionated and they will be pretty fixed in that opinion. So at times they can be seen as stubborn or difficult to persuade. Where Taurus and Aries are different is Aries is very outgoing and Taurus can be introverted at times. So when you blend these two energies together, you will get an Aries personality that is a bit more reserved than the usual Aries. They will be willing to take risks, but will be cautious and they'll want to know as much as they possibly can about the situation before they dive in. Also, where other Aries are impatient and will give up on something when they're not getting the results that they desire in the time frame that they desire, an Aries with Taurus Moon will actually have the tenacity and the drive and the focus to see a goal through to the end, even if the road seems long. So in terms of reaching their goals, an Aries with with Taurus Moon should have no problem reaching a substantial level of success once they identify exactly what it is that they want to accomplish. When it comes to career paths, this combination usually has a very creative mind and great taste. So if they decide to take a path related to art, design, or performance, or really just any profession that they can express that creative side of who they are, then they not only will be successful, but they will also find fulfillment on that path. Another great thing about this unique blend of fire and earth is most Aries can speak before thinking, and at times offend people when being offensive was not really their intention. Well, an Aries with Taurus Moon will actually think before they speak, which will lend to them being personable and compassionate in their dealings with other people. Now, when it comes to love, this personality is passionate, they're honest, and they're loyal. They will be very physically expressive, and they'll also go that extra mile to make sure that you're comfortable. They will like cooking for you at times, and they find pleasure in giving pleasure. And don't get me wrong, they also love being on the receiving end of pleasure, but where most Aries can get a bad rap for being self-centered, an Aries with Taurus Moon will make sure that what they want to receive, they're also willing to give. They will be much more interested in longevity when it comes to love because they take love very seriously and they don't want to waste their time on just someone who's looking for fun and only fun. Fun is exciting for them, but if they don't feel like the two of you are on the same page in terms of what you're working towards, then they very quickly lose interest and move on to a more practical, goal-oriented partner. They don't do lazy though, so you have to have a level of physical ambition and thirst for excitement and adventure that matches theirs. Otherwise, again, they're out. So overall, an Aries with Taurus Moon is a personality that is persistent, they're charming, very strong, romantic, loyal, and loving, but they can also be stuck in their ways, stubborn, grudge-holding, uptight. But if honest, devoted, exciting, and adventurous, but practical, if that's the type of love that you're looking for, then look no further. Okay, Aries with Gemini Moon. Now, this is one of those situations where the sun sign and the moon sign are very, very compatible. So just right off the bat, you can rest assured that you're going to get someone that is likable because the way that they think and the way that they feel is in harmony, so you're not going to have a lot of conflict. This personality is ambitious, full of life, light-hearted, intelligent, and open-minded. They're a very adaptable version of Aries, where most Aries can be pretty rigid about what they believe to be right and wrong. This version of Aries can be much more willing to decide what they believe about a person or a situation based on the given circumstances, as opposed to just making a sweeping judgment call like a lot of Aries can do. They can have a lot of nervous energy though, meaning that they're most relaxed when they're socializing or learning a new skill or just taking on really any task that challenges them and gives them a place to focus that abundant amount of mental and physical energy. They will be great at multitasking and will also work well in a group because unlike a lot of Aries, they don't always have to be the one that's in charge. And Aries with Gemini Moon will have great ideas and will have no problem taking charge if they're requested to do so. And they actually would prefer to do so, but they can also be an active contributing part of a group because they have that ability to compromise and communicate in a way that is more suggestion-oriented as opposed to bossy. Now, when it comes to achieving their goals, they will do very well as long as they can settle on one vision. This personality will be good at many things and they'll have many interests and they may have the ambition to try them all. But as we all know, the more you can focus your energy, the more effective your energy will be. So if there's any Aries with Gemini Moon personalities out there watching this, just know the sooner you decide exactly what path that you want to take, the sooner you can get to focusing your very capable energy in that direction. Also, very similar to Aries with Aries Moon, it will be important to have staying power. If you get frustrated that you're not getting the results in the time frame that you want, this doesn't mean that you're on the wrong path. It just means that it's an opportunity to learn patience and implement tenacity to your formula for success. Now, when it comes to love, this personality is more of a thinker than they are a feeler, meaning they will process their emotions much more through their intellect and logic than they will through their emotions. So some may think that they're hard to get close to or that they can be emotionally detached or cold, but that actually isn't true. They just find no interest in drama, and if there is an issue, their first instinct is to just figure out what the situation has going on and then resolve it. And if it can't be resolved, then they'll just move on and they'll feel great about it. They can for sure be emotionally unpredictable though because of that Gemini Moon of theirs, but the waves of emotion won't be too intense and they won't last for very long. They're impatient for sure, and they only want to be involved with someone that stimulates their mind as well as their body. They are very charming and witty, and they're great at getting what they want. Not to mention, they give off the energy of being very confident and capable. So that's an extremely attractive quality as well. The thing is, if you want to be with them, you definitely have to have an interesting, adventurous, and complex personality, because if you don't, then you're going to have a hard time keeping them guessing to a certain degree. Not about who you are, but guessing in terms of what adventure the two of you are going to pursue next. And if you don't have that, then they're going to get bored, and a bored Aries with Gemini Moon is an exiting Aries with Gemini Moon. They're not sticking around for someone who is lazy, or even if someone isn't lazy, but they're just satisfied with the status quo. They aren't demanding, they just want excitement. And if you're not exciting, then they don't find you attractive. They won't demand a label on a relationship immediately either. They don't mind dating to get to know you, and they don't mind taking their time to get to the place where it's serious. But they do mind drama, complacency, or outright stupidity. So overall, an Aries with Gemini Moon is a personality that is insightful, they're driven, they're open-minded, they're very charming and talented in many different areas of life, but they can also be forgetful, somewhat manipulative, and easily distracted. And sometimes they'll pretend like they forgot something just so you won't hold them accountable for it. But if a lighthearted, intellectually engaging, and let's see where it goes while having the best time possible in love is what you're looking for, then they may be the perfect match for you. Okay, Aries with Cancer Moon. Well, let the drama begin, because this is an intense personality to say the least. They are ambitious, they are emotional, they are expressive and sensitive, strong and very clear on what they want, both emotionally and physically. This personality will have a very youthful quality about them, which can be very endearing, but when they get their feelings hurt, it can shift from endearing to exhausting. However, in their day-to-day life, their ability to take initiative, along with their strong drive and their incredible intuition, that will for sure assist them in rising to the top of any profession that they actually decide to pursue. As long as they develop the skill of processing their emotions in a constructive way by not being reactive and by taking time when they're triggered to make a conscious decision regarding how they intend to respond to something. It also helps that they do have a strong belief in themselves, and they don't have the desire to fit in or to answer to anyone or to follow anyone's rules other than their own. The combination of Aries with Cancer Moon will also give this person more patience when it comes to the pursuit of establishing security and making money. So that Cancer Moon is actually a great influence in terms of giving this Aries some staying power when they have a goal. This person will absolutely be creative, and they may find themselves in a profession that allows that creativity and that ability to just come up with great ideas to flow. Regardless of whatever area they pursue though regarding their work, you can rest assured that they will absolutely do their best, and you can count on them to be responsible. Now, when it comes to love, here is where things get really intense. This person loves very deeply, which is a beautiful thing, and they're very passionate, and they're also very loyal, but they can be clingy and they can also be needy, and when their feelings get hurt, they respond one of two ways, and both will be extreme. They will either shut off and shut you out and go into their shell, giving you the silent treatment of a lifetime, or they will explode and seemingly have no control over their emotions. So if you're in a relationship with them, it will be very important to have great communication from the beginning, so this way you both know what works for the other person and what doesn't work for the other person, because if you're dating an Aries with Cancer Moon, you want to absolutely stay away from doing the things that they will be triggered by. The good news is they will do everything in their power to honor your requests as well. When this personality loves you, there is nothing they won't do for you, and they will do their best to make sure that you feel protected and respected and cared for. Just make sure they feel the same level of love coming back their way, because if they don't, you will have a bit of a big baby on your hands. They can be jealous, sometimes vindictive and petty, and they will not get back to being that lovable version of themselves until whatever wrongs are made right. The good news is, when it comes to romantic relationships, they don't hold much of a grudge, but this is only when they know that you love them and that you've apologized. But when it comes to other types of relationships, they can be a bit more stubborn to bring it back around. So overall, an Aries with Cancer Moon is a beautifully sentimental, romantic person who is a strong, expressive, ambitious personality. They can be compassionate, caretaking, and protective, but they can also be insecure, controlling, and emotionally reactive. But if passionate, deep, emotionally intense types of people turn you on, then congratulations, you have found your match. But if you're more interested in a lighthearted, easygoing love without too many ups and downs, then get out while you can, because an Aries with Cancer Moon, they are many beautiful things, but simple and non-theatrical, that's not one of them. But I can guarantee if you do end up in a relationship with them, you will absolutely feel loved. Okay, Aries with Leo Moon. Now this is very much what you see is what you get type personality. As you know, Aries and Leo are both fire signs and they are very compatible with each other. So the way this person thinks and the way this person feels will be in harmony with each other. So at least you know when you're dealing with them that you're gonna get somebody who is clear, decisive, and upfront with their feelings. They'll also be very generous and loyal. This is the type of person that you want to have around when you just want to let loose and have a good time. They're often known as the life of the party because they actually see life as something to really be enjoyed. They are expressive, they're optimistic, they're positive, and they just exude a warm energy. Now, for more reserved types, they may not feel this way about them because they may feel like the Aries with Leo Moon is just doing too much. But the truth is, they're just enjoying life and they're not too concerned with what other people think about this energy that they're bringing. They can also be a bit obsessive too, because wherever they choose to put that double fire energy of theirs, they are going to take it to an extreme. So it's not always we are the music makers and we are the dreamers of the dreams. If their thoughts are focused on something negative, they can also take that to an extreme. But these personalities have to be pretty pissed about something in order to go that route. Their general disposition is dramatic in terms of all or nothing, but they prefer to focus on fun as opposed to drama. But they are capable of the drama, especially if they have a rising like Virgo or Scorpio, because those two energies as risings, they do tend to focus on what is wrong about something as opposed to what is right about something. So when it comes to their professional world, they work best in a leadership position because they aren't the best at following rules, and they will do best in some profession that involves some level of performance. And it doesn't always have to be on a stage. They could be a great teacher or an athlete or even a salesperson, just something where they get to channel that excitement of being heard and seen into something that those qualities really work for. So as long as they don't get into a profession that requires the same old thing every day, that doesn't give them recognition, if they stay away from that sort of line of work, they should find that they will be pretty successful and well liked. Now, when it comes to love, they are very affectionate and generous, but they absolutely require you to give them the appreciation and attention that they feel like they deserve. If you don't, all of that positivity and optimism and good time energy I spoke about earlier will turn into a one-person protest that could rival Earth Day. They are competitive and they can be jealous, so just know if you're going to be in a relationship with them, they are best suited with someone who is verbally and emotionally expressive, as well as attentive and excited by the idea of making their partner a priority. If you don't have that sort of energy to give them, then absolutely look elsewhere, because this personality does not settle and they don't take not getting their needs met lightly. But give them what they feel like they deserve and you will have the love of a lifetime on your hands that will be anything but boring. So overall, an Aries with Leo Moon is a personality that is imaginative, enthusiastic, they're full of life, they love to share that love that they have to give, but they can also be demanding, somewhat controlling, very dramatic when they're not getting what they want, and a bit obsessive. So if you're up for the challenge and excited about the rewards that can come along with rising to that challenge, then they could be just the love that you're looking for. Okay, Aries with Virgo Moon. Now, we already know that Aries is very clear on what they believe to be right and wrong, and they are very vocal about it. So if you take that energy and you blend it with Virgo Moon, which is very meticulous and picky about how they think things should be done, not to mention Virgo also has a very clear idea of right and wrong, just like Aries does, and they lead with what they think is wrong first, then you're gonna get someone who has a very, very high standards, and they expect the people in their lives to live up to those standards, and they will be vocal if they think that someone is not living up to those standards. Now, before you pass judgment on them, because I know that sounded intense, just know that they hold themselves to those same standards, if not even higher. And much of the times they may even have problems with anxiety because of it. So if there are any Aries with Virgo Moon people out there watching this right now, let me just say to you, be a little easier on yourself. It is very admirable to hold yourself to a high standard and to work tirelessly to reach that standard. But please remember, no one and nothing is perfect. So much of the time, it is important to give yourself credit for doing your absolute best, and if things don't turn out as you hoped, don't waste energy on being down on yourself. Remind yourself that life is about the journey, and the journey is meant to be enjoyed. So if you don't allow yourself to truly celebrate until you feel like you've reached the standard that you set for yourself, well, you may never get a chance in your life to have a celebratory moment because you tend to think that something can always be better. So yes, keep striving striving for perfection. I'm absolutely not saying settle for less, because you're not capable of that. But love yourself through the process, and please remember to enjoy that journey. Now, that being said, it is pretty clear that this personality will reach success in their life. With that level of ambition, physical energy, and attention to detail, how could they not? The problem is they may rub a few people the wrong way along the way, but they aren't too concerned with this because they are much more about being true to themselves and honoring that truth. So they feel like if someone has a problem with that, then that's not really any of their concern. Now, when it comes to love, they are for sure going to need someone who is independent and emotionally mature and not needy at all. And Aries with Virgo Moon is very logical with their approach to love, so someone that is overly emotional and overly sensitive won't stand a chance with them. They need the balance of spending time together and spending time apart to pursue their personal goals, and they will thrive in a relationship with someone that respects that idea and is excited to grow together while making sure to not lose themselves in the relationship. They can be loving and they can be loyal, but if you're looking for overly sentimental or even overly romantic, then you should for sure look elsewhere. They are also very free with criticism and critiques, so if you're the type that takes it personally, if someone has a suggestion or points out where something can be better, then an Aries with Virgo Moon is not for you. They do need someone who is emotionally open though, so that way it can help them access their more compassionate and loving nature. It is in there, but it takes a lot for them to trust, and it takes a lot for someone to earn their respect. But when they find that special someone, they can really open up and offer up a deep love that can last a lifetime. But strength and self-confidence is for sure a necessity, and great communication skills if you're gonna make a relationship with them work. So overall, an Aries with Virgo Moon is someone that is intelligent, resilient, and they can be loving given the right circumstances, but they are also impatient, judgmental, and they have a very high standard that they will hold you and themselves to. So if you're up for the challenge, go for it, because it can be extremely rewarding. Okay, Aries with Libra Moon. Now, this is one of those personalities where the sun sign and the moon sign are polar opposites. So you're gonna get a personality that can operate in extremes, but also a personality that can have a unique balance of these two energies. Aries is impulsive and Libra is much more cautious. So when you put these two energies together, you're gonna get an Aries that for sure will go after what they want, especially because both Aries and Libra are cardinal energies, but they will also take their time and make a plan before they decide to just dive right in. The issue can be though that Libra can be a bit indecisive, and they can have many different options in terms of what they're interested in and what they want to do. And you have Aries that is the type of energy that when they're interested in something, they want to do it immediately. So an Aries with Libra Moon may find themselves doing a little too much of a few different things and not getting as much done as they would if they narrowed down the goal to just one or maybe two things at most. This personality will find success though in whatever they choose to do, especially if they go into business for themselves. This is actually an excellent combination for being a business owner, because they will take action and think of the smartest and most efficient way to do so, which is a gift that Libra has. Libra energy at finding the path of greatest success but least resistance is fantastic. They are all about work smarter, not harder, and Aries has the energy to do any sort of work. So this combination is made for success in the business world. The trick is they have to make sure that they do check in with the people that they work with. It is easy for double cardinal energy to get caught up in doing things their own way, because this is how cardinal energy is wired to approach life. They make decisions, then they go for it. They really don't require the input from other people. And this isn't because they don't care. This is just because they are genuinely wired to process situations and ideas this way. They identify the issue, they come up with a solution, and then they just go. But this can be off-putting to others if they feel that their voice isn't being heard, especially if they aren't themselves cardinal energy. This is because they will just see that behavior as self-centered. So if there's any Aries with Libra Moon personalities out there listening to this, just know that you can be even more successful along your journey if you make sure and check in with those people that are taking the journey with you. Just make sure that they feel heard, make sure that they feel like you're taking their thoughts and their feelings into consideration. Otherwise, you might find yourself isolating yourself with that not even being your intention. So when it comes to success, this personality shouldn't have much of an issue at all, but when it comes to love, this is where things get a bit tricky. Not because they will have a hard time attracting love. They are very charismatic, they're charming, and they give off an air of playful confidence that is always attractive. Their issue is, number one, they have a hard time making up their mind on exactly what they want. So once they do finally decide and someone shows them something that is outside of of their desires, instead of communicating to get to the other side of it, they tend to think to themselves, well, I guess this person isn't capable of the type of relationship that I want. Then their next thought is to just jump ship and move on to more interesting waters. So this is that tendency of an Aries with Libra Moon to make decisions on their own and taking action without discussing it with the other people involved. And they may think discussing it means telling the other person what they want from them. And if they don't get it, then they're out. Now that's not much of a discussion. So the more they can implement open, compassionate communication skills where they really hear the other person's perspective and they share what they're truly feeling before they make up their mind, if they can do that, they will be much more successful in love because they can be very loving and very devoted. It's just when they see a red flag, they see it as an exit sign instead of an opportunity to be vulnerable and open and communicative. So if they can up their communication game and their vulnerability game, they can for sure be much more successful in love because they do make a great partner as long as they operate as a team instead of an island. So overall, an Aries with Libra Moon is a personality that is kind, they're optimistic, they're independent, they're strong-willed, and they're loving, but they can also be inconsistent, hard to read, avoidant when it comes to difficult topics, and indecisive. But with some great communication, they can be the love of someone who is very lucky's life. Okay, Aries with Scorpio Moon. Now this is a very cool but very mysterious personality, and here's why. Usually Aries are pretty outgoing and they're easy to read, but Scorpio energy is powerful here and it can override Aries energy a bit in terms of making them much more introverted, calculated, and quiet. Now when it comes to their ambition, their competitive nature, their focus, and their ability to work hard and achieve a goal, this Scorpio energy only amplifies all of these traits. Not only does it amplify them, but it also influences Aries to be much more aware and connected to their intuition, which can be extremely helpful, but it can also make them a bit more hidden and over-analyzing and give them a tendency to keep their feelings bottled up, which is way different than the usual Aries. This doesn't mean that they're not confident though. They have an ample amount of confidence in their ability to achieve a goal because they know how focused they can be, they know how driven they can be, not to mention they aren't really worried about fitting in. They are perfectly fine to have their own perspective and live by that perspective whether other people agree or not. The challenge for them is when they feel like they've failed at anything really. Their emotions can for sure overtake them and it can be a hard road to travel to get them back to center. Regardless, they absolutely have what it takes to be successful because not only are they hard workers and consistent, but they also tend to decide at an early age what direction they want to go to in life and they're off to the races at that point. Now when it comes to love, they have no problem attracting energy because they have a very magnetic aura about them. Their mysterious nature really plays in their favor in terms of attracting someone, but taking it to the next level and sustaining a relationship may prove to be difficult because they tend to have a difficult time trusting someone or even trusting love in general. Not to mention they have a hard time opening up, so it is difficult for someone to really get close to them. Once they do find love though, they are extremely devoted, they're passionate, and they're sensitive to the other person's feelings, but they're still a bit secretive and they can also be very stubborn if they feel like the person that they're with is giving them too much pushback when it comes to something that they really want. They do not like being told no, and they will become a bit obstinate until they do get what they want. They will also have a bit of a jealous streak because they are competitive and they do not take kindly to the idea of someone else giving the person that they're with any sort of affection or interest. So they're best matched with someone who is romantic and devoted and puts the relationship at close to or the top of their priority list. They won't act out when they're angry though. One of the positive influences that Scorpio Moon has on the Aries personality is helping them to be much more controlled in terms of how they react. They do have intense feelings, but they have much more of an ability to not let their feelings get ahead of them. They have much more of that ability than the usual Aries. So overall, an Aries with Scorpio Moon is a personality that is alluring, powerful, intuitive, mysterious, driven, and passionate, but they can also be cold when angry, controlling, and secretive. So if you don't mind taking the time and putting the effort in to peel back a few layers in order to reveal a very lovable and capable, but sometimes domineering personality, then an Aries with Scorpio Moon may be the perfect match for you. Okay, Aries with Sagittarius Moon. Now Aries is already a pretty positive energy just in terms of the fact that they see life and its possibilities first as opposed to looking at the obstacles first, and Sagittarius is known as the optimist of the zodiac. So when you put these two energies together in one personality, you are for sure going to get a person with a glass half full perspective. There is always a way when it comes to this personality. You're also going to get someone who is not very patient at all, and they're always on the go. They will be ambitious and creative and full of ideas, and they'll be able to see these ideas to fruition because they have the work ethic and the creative strategic brain to do so. Now, this personality is going to be pretty extreme. Anytime you have the same element as the sun sign and the moon sign, you're going to get double that influence. You're going to get a heavy influence of that energy. So fire signs are known for being tactless at times because they can be compassionate, but they are straightforward with their opinion. And for them, they feel like if you can't handle their opinion, well, that's on you. So they're definitely capable of achieving success in life, but more than likely on their journey, they're going to have a few people along the way that really love them for their tell it like it is approach, or that really don't love them. The Sagittarius Moon is also a great influence for the Aries Sun, because where Aries usually perceives the world based on how it affects them, an Aries with Sagittarius Moon will be much more interested in the big picture, and they'll be able to make choices accordingly, which is a very powerful trait. They are open-minded and free thinkers, but also very opinionated. They're all about freedom and adventure, and they're also all about live and let live. They live by the idea that if you stay out of their business, they will stay out of yours, and everyone will be happy. However, if you do ask for their opinion, be ready for something that you might not want to hear in the way that you might not want to hear it. Now, when it comes to love, an Aries with Sagittarius Moon is very exciting to be with and very exciting to be around. They're very expressive and they're connected, especially in the beginning dating phase of the relationship. The challenge with them is when the word commitment comes up. Now, this doesn't mean that they can't be committed, but it does mean that in order for them to even entertain the idea, they have to know that you are secure enough to give them the freedom that they require. Their biggest annoyance in relationships is feeling obligated or caged in by anyone. So when it comes to love, if you're the type that's all about rules and regulations and having a say-so in your partner's life and behavior, you might want to look elsewhere. For them, they believe that if you trust someone, you should give them the space to be who they are and have confidence that they will not do anything to dishonor the relationship. But listing out rules or trying to hold them accountable to your standards, that will just guarantee that the relationship won't last. So overall, an Aries with Sagittarius Moon is a personality that is thoughtful, determined, and straightforward, but they are also unpredictable. They can be combative at times and definitely rebellious. So for them, the ideal relationship is made up of two people that really want to explore the adventures of life together while being affectionate, while being romantic, while having fun and being expressive with each other, but while also giving each other the space to be who they are without too many labels or restrictions. They don't do negative drama, they don't do jealousy, and they absolutely don't do controlling. So if you think this sounds like the perfect dynamic, then an Aries with Sagittarius Moon may be your perfect match. But if tradition and rules and accountability and consistency is what you crave, then this is definitely not the one for you. Okay, Aries with Capricorn Moon. Now this person will be two words: no nonsense. They will be caretaking, they'll be consistent, they will be loving, they will be practical, strong-willed, and determined. But just know they work one way, based on the facts. When it comes to a career or the practical path of their personal life, they will absolutely not have a hard time achieving success because they're confident in their abilities, and they also back up that confidence with a work ethic and a grounded perspective, meaning they know in order to be good at something, you have to learn about it and you have to have experience in it. They also are very clear on what they believe to be right and wrong, as most Aries are, and they pretty much won't waver on that. They are very focused when it comes to their goals, and they have a mature way of looking at life. Although they can be reserved at times and fairly shy, at least for an Aries, they are still willing to take initiative and follow through with their intentions once they've established where they're going in life. They can be risk takers like most Aries, but because of that Capricorn Moon of theirs, it will be much more of a calculated risk. Anything they see as foolish or too dangerous will definitely be left off their to-do list. Aries can also be known for being reactive, but an Aries with Capricorn Moon is going to take in the information of any situation first and then decide decide what the best course of action is. They will be strong both mentally and physically, and although they have a depth of emotion, they will never let their emotional reactions dictate their next steps. Now, when it comes to love, this personality is very loyal. They're also consistent, and again, no nonsense. They know what they require in order to feel loved, and they know if they love you, they're willing to do what you desire in order for you to feel loved. However, like with everything else in their world, it has to make sense. If it doesn't make sense, they're not doing it. You can rest assured though that they will be transparent, they will be clear and direct with how they feel, and if they have any issue at all, they will address it in a solution-oriented way. But just know, they're no pushover. Yes, they want solutions, but they can also be very stubborn and they won't back down from a confrontation. They will do what it takes to right any wrong, and they won't take nonsense from anyone, especially someone they love. So overall, an Aries with Capricorn Moon is a personality that is assertive, they're practical, they're goal-oriented, compassionate, and consistent, but they are also a bit controlling in terms of making sure that things are the way that they think and feel they should be, and they can tend to be a bit obsessive when it comes to worrying about the future and the people that they love. But with a little reassurance and support from the people that they love, this personality can be an incredible person to know and to love. Okay, Aries with Aquarius Moon. And I'll talk about a jack of all trades. This person is going to be capable in many different areas in life. They will be creative and full of energy both mentally and physically. They will have so much energy, as a matter of fact, that it is difficult for them to shut their brain off when it comes to thinking of new ideas. This person is very strong-willed and definitely an independent thinker. They have no concern when it comes to fitting in, and actually they take pride in the fact that they are unique. They can be a bit controlling, although if someone tried to control them, they would retaliate with a stubborn resilience to stick to what they want when they want it. And when it comes to patience, well, they have none. But nonetheless, this will not stand in the way of them being successful. With that creative, strategic brain of theirs, they are all about the idea of where there's a will, there's a way. So they will definitely find a way for sure. The thing is, they need to make sure that they implement clarity of intention and consistency into their game plan, because they are capable in so many different areas of life. They can find themselves doing a lot in many different areas, but not necessarily getting a lot done. So if there are any Aries with Aquarius Moon personalities out there watching this, the more you can narrow down exactly what you want to accomplish and focus that powerful energy of yours on that goal consistently, then you will be unstoppable. The Aquarius Moon also is a great balance to the Aries energy when it comes to their emotional disposition. Aries, as we know, can be impulsive and reactive, but that Aquarius Moon of theirs brings a logical perspective that lends to them being much more strategic in their responses. And although they do have the innocence of the Aries emotional, compassionate love and expression, they will have the maturity of Aquarius's big picture, problem-solving perspective. Now, when it comes to love, this person can be amazing to be in a relationship with, as long as they get their tendency to want to run the show under control. They do have great ideas, and they do actually give really great advice, but if you're in a relationship with them, they have to understand that you have your own ways of doing things. And unless you're asking them for their advice, they have to learn to let someone be themselves and do things their own way, even if the Aries with Aquarius Moon may think that they have a better idea of how things can be done. And their idea may even be better, practically speaking, but relationships are all about loving someone, but letting them make the choices that their soul leads them to make. And if they want some input, they will ask you for it. Now, it's a whole nother dynamic if one person's choices are affecting the other person, but this is just generally speaking, and I can touch on that in maybe a relationship video. The other challenge they may have is the idea of traditional commitment, and this isn't because they can't commit. They absolutely can. They just have a problem with the idea of anything traditional, and the idea of doing the same thing over and over for an extended period of time can be a bit unsettling for them. So if you're going to be in a relationship with an Aries that has Aquarius Moon, hopefully you're the type of person that is constantly growing and constantly changing and constantly wanting more out of life in terms of ambition, because if not, your Aries with Aquarius Moon may start to see you as mundane or stuck in life, or even worse, basic. And if they see you that way, well, you won't see them, because they will definitely run for the nearest exit. So overall, an Aries with Aquarius Moon is a personality that is clever, they're warm, they're fun-loving, they're compassionate and enthusiastic, but they are also stubborn, impatient for sure, and inconsistent at times. But if you're down for the most emotionally interesting, adventurous roller coaster ride that you can find, then step right up, because an Aries with Aquarius Moon will be perfect for you. Okay, Aries with Pisces Moon. Moon. Now here we have the beginning of the zodiac and the ending of the zodiac all wrapped up into one beautiful energy. This is a really unique combination of naive and worldly. They can at times have the perspective of a child and then turn around and have the wisdom of an old sage. At times they are outgoing and ready to take on the world, and other times they like to retreat into their imagination and explore life's possibilities through that window of perception. They would definitely have an interest in and some foundation relating to religion or spirituality. They truly believe that there's much more to life than what is on the surface. Now, if they aren't religious or spiritual, they will go to the opposite end of the spectrum and they'll be a staunch atheist. So you can see that they do operate in extremes. Whichever direction that they choose to go, they go all the way, and they take that journey and they make the decisions based on experience. So whatever their belief system, it will be based on the experiences that they have and the knowledge that they have gained from having those experiences. When it comes to being successful, they have that Aries drive and fearlessness mixed with Pisces intuitive understanding and Pisces ability to network and communicate effectively. So whatever path they take, they will reach their goal as long as they can learn to deal with their very, very intense waves of emotion. When they're passionate about something or triggered by something, they can feel that energy and feel it intensely. So if you find them in a debate, it will be a very passionate debate. Or if you find them in some sort of argument, it will be a very passionate argument. They don't really have to do anything. They will work well in a world that allows them to tap into their creative spirit while also giving them an outlet for their ability to be excited by challenges and then get things done. The one hurdle they may have to overcome is feeling misunderstood. Many Aries with Pisces Moon people will take the path of the loner, but they will eventually reach a level of success regardless because of their well-rounded energy. Now when it comes to love, this person is very sensitive and impulsive. They go for what they want when they want it. They also don't really have an easy time hiding their emotions, so whoever is in a relationship with them won't have a hard time knowing how they're feeling, because when they're happy, their energy fills a room, and when they're unhappy, that energy fills the room also. So at least with them, you'll know where you stand. They are attracted to and will only work with strong personalities. This helps them to feel stronger themselves, and it also gives them the space to be blunt and straightforward without fear of hurting the other person's feelings, which is the way that they prefer to operate. They will have a great sense of humor and will at times use that clever sense of humor to get their way. When things are good with them, they are amazing, but when they're upset and things go left, it is equally dramatic. So a more practical, consistent partner is perfect to help counterbalance their tendency to go from one extreme to another. So overall, an Aries with Pisces Moon is a personality that is creative, they're adventurous, definitely a dreamer and a romantic, but they can also be insecure, they can also be easily distracted and emotionally unpredictable. So if you love experiencing intensity and adventure and a lot of laughter and emotional expressiveness with some ups and downs, and a partner that definitely challenges you when it comes to holding your own in an argument or debate, then an Aries with Pisces Moon could be just the love you're looking for. Okay, so there you have it. A brief personality description of the 12 faces of Aries based on what moon sign they have. I hope you found this information useful. If you did, please don't forget the baby tab. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And if you've had any experiences with a version of Aries that you would like to share, please do. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and hang out with me. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video.